Hello everybody, this is Elizabeth at Valley Poultry, and we are going to do the last installment of our new greenhouse aviary. I want to thank everybody for all the comments and likes on the post, and I'm going to try to remember, I made a list to answer everybody's questions. If you're interested in the exterior and the construction, there's 5 videos already on my YouTube channel, which takes you through step-by-step of the process. So I'm not going to really go into anything on the exterior or the build. We'll move to the interior and discuss some of the working parts. I appreciate everybody's comments, but this is the 3rd one of these that we've done. And I'm not telling you how to do it because you guys have a lot of ideas and there's a lot of different ways to do anything. I'm just going to show you what works for us and explain to you why I chose to do it the way that I do it. I like greenhouses because they're easier to put up than all the poles required to support the net. The other big advantage, of course, is that you can cover it in the winter, and when it snows, the snow will just slide right off. I don't like coming out at 7 o'clock in the morning by myself after my husband's already gone to work and have the net almost collapse because it's covered in snow and ice. And that's happened a couple of times. Oh good, we've got a little friend visiting us. Had a wasp wanting to get in the camera there. Okay, so disadvantages of greenhouses are size. You're much more limited than if you do a traditional open greenhouse, or open pen. I opted to make this one a little shorter than the Bootstrap Farmer recommendations on their website, which I can send you a link in the comments. Mine's only about 9.5 feet because I didn't think I needed 13 feet. That would have just mean more netting that I didn't have to buy. This netting is 1 inch heavy knotted, and I buy that online, and it's a real big expense, but it's a one-time deal, and it will probably last you for years and years and years. So here we go. Now these guys were just moved in a couple days ago, so they haven't quite settled down yet, and they're still a little worried when I come in. They will mellow out. These are pretty calm birds overall. I have Hottentot teal, marble teal, ring teal in here right now. There's the marbles. And that's the one that likes to stand on the drain pipe, which is pretty funny. So the first part of the greenhouse, I've got more plants. We're still planning on a whole bunch more plants back there behind the filter box. So this is kind of the business end with the hose reel and the leaf net. This is, I call them a food court. We build these just as a place to get the food out of the rain, keep it protected somewhat, and then I keep a bucket of their mixture in each pen so that I don't have to haul food out every day. Contrary to popular belief, this is not a fiberglass pool. This is actually concrete. And I painted it. I wanted it pretty because I'm extra like that, and so I painted it so it looks nice. The algae will ultimately coat it and it will take on a darker appearance, but nothing that a good pressure wash won't fix. Plants, that was one of the comments that I was getting. They wanted more plants by the pool and hosta and all sorts of pretty things. And yeah, I would love all that, but what I discovered is proximity to the water. Anything that's real close or next to the water is what they eat and destroy and play with, and it's just futile. There's no point because they're just going to tear it up. So I planted more plants back here where they're less likely to bother them. And then I bought these two pretty flower plants at Lowe's this year that have had some time to establish. And I don't know if they're going to eat them. I really hope not, because I really like them. But to protect them, I've got them in cages, and they may or may not stay. Grasses like this tend to do real well. They also provide some shade and a cozy spot to get out of the sun in the summer. Okay, mud in the pool. How do I keep the ducks from dragging so much mud in my pool? So the answer is don't have mud. I know that sounds pretty ridiculous, but what we do, and this is what we've done in all of our aviaries, is this is river rock, so it's not quite little tiny stuff. And down below the river rock, you probably can't see it, we use weed blocker. So we lay a layer of weed blocker, and then we put the river rock on. It drains really well. It keeps them from digging down, drilling down, and getting mud and dirt to track into the pool. It's still going to get some dirt and residue on the bottom, and that is just taken care of when we clean it. And now we will talk about that and how to filter it and clean it. So when this was poured, there was a drain line incorporated in the pool. This pool is only about maybe 1.5 feet at the deepest point here by the drain. And there's a PVC elbow right underneath that pipe. And all I have to do to drain it is pull that pipe out. Water drains away, and it's connected all the way down our pasture and dumps into the pond down there. It's also fed by fresh well water. This makes sure in the summer that there's at least one cool spot in the water. It also helps in the winter so that it doesn't freeze. Now, we don't have a well that's robust enough to turn this water over as quickly as it needs to go in order to keep this crystal clear. So we use a filtration system. And after several different attempts and trial and error and many, many trips to the koi pond store, this is what we use in all 3 of our aviaries. This is called a Savio. And this is the compact version. There's 2 different versions. What this does is this houses the pump and the UV light. There are other ways to protect your pump, but with ducks, you're going to have feathers to deal with that the koi pond people just don't have. So what this does is it has a basket. Let me see if I can get that out here without falling over. The basket in the front, which will catch most of the leaves and feathers. There's a feather right there. And if that's not enough, then there's these filter pads, which are really fine and catches a lot more of the fine particulates. And this saves the pump from getting all that stuff sucked in. Every day I pull these filter pads and hose them off, and I pull the basket and I clean out anything that's in there and clean it up, and that works out really great for us to protect the pump. There's other ways to do it. I've seen people have taken a milk carton, those milk crates, and put that filter material all the way around the outside and stuck their pump right in the pool. Great, that works. There's also other types of UV lights that you can use. We just particularly like this system because it's all inside. All the uglies are hidden. And yeah, this isn't really particularly all that attractive, but it's better than some of the alternatives. And it keeps it out of the pool. So then it is connected with hard PVC plastic. It runs all the way down here underneath these pavers. this is where it comes in. So it comes in at the bottom of the tank, and then it flows upwards, and it goes through 2 layers of filter sponges and also a big sheet of foam, and then comes out the waterfall. A lot of people in the koi pond world use lava rocks and bio balls. Yeah, that doesn't work out all that great for ducks because, again, we have a lot more poop to deal with, and you need something that could filter a whole lot better than that. So we went with the sponge pad type idea rather than the bio balls. So, you know, you can use whatever you want, but that just works for us, so that's what we're going with. So this whole aviary right here is 20 by 44 in this section. The whole thing is 81 feet long. There are 2 about 20 by 20 pens. All right, guys. Behind here that are my grow out pens. They're also being fed by the well. And we had the plastic over the new area while we were working on it. And rather than take it down for a month and put it back up, we just moved it over. Because we'll need to put it on permanently in a couple months. So anyway, this is where all the babies are as they grow out and become juveniles and then get sent off to their new homes. My plan is once these guys are gone, then I can winter my call ducks in these pens, and they'll have a great time, and it'll make life a lot easier for me in the long run because I won't have to clean each individual pool. You can see that mandarins and wood ducks love to sit on this, and same food court, same bucket of food in each compartment. The way I designed this was so that if we need to, we can disconnect this and roll it up to the top, and it can be one big pen. That one also is designed to be removable. I don't know in retrospect if I'm ever actually going to do that, but I thought it was a good idea at the time, so that's what we went with. And I suppose we could have framed it in and made it a permanent wall, but I like the flexibility whether we use it or not. I like the idea. We made these quick little perches because those ducks, there are ducks in both of these pens that really love to perch. So that's a wood duck hen sitting there. And the ring teal and the mandarins in the other pen also like to perch. So ultimately what we're going to do in here is I want to make another big planting area, kind of in this area, and move that over because it's kind of getting squished, and put some more nest boxes. I need a wood duck box on a pole because ring teal like those. I need a couple more ground boxes here and there. That was another comment. Somebody said they saw a cage in here. Did I round them up and let them out? No. We keep pheasants in our other aviaries, and I'm still undecided if I'm going to get pheasants for in here. I probably end up will, but we like to keep these in there for the pheasants because the pheasants like to roost at night, and I would prefer that they roost inside of here rather than on top of nest boxes way up in the sky, which is a little sketchier and a little riskier for them as far as predators, hawks, or owls and hawks come swooping down and hit the net. As far as I know, no hawk has ever broken through one of our nets, but I don't know. I like to keep that, and I discovered that the ducks seem to really like those because I walk in there and every one of them will be curled up inside, crashed out, taking a nap. So it must provide them with some protection as well, some sense of security. Look, ducks in a row. Well, see, that didn't last. But that's the pen, and that's all I know about taking care of them. It's really not an issue. We only drain this, I'd say completely drain, pressure wash, and redo it every 3 or 4 months. And it depends, you know, how many birds are in the pen. And if there's more birds, obviously it has to be done more often. And the water can still be clear, but then there's gook on the bottom, and that kind of drives me crazy. So we'll drain it and clean it. What else? You might be surprised at the size of this pen, but if you only raise domestic ducks, you might not realize that the wild species really need elbow room to feel safe and to want to produce. It's frustrating when you hear somebody get a pair of mandarins and they stick them in a small enclosure, and the mandarins are spooked. They don't lay eggs, they don't mate, they're just crowded. So this may seem like a really big pen for some really little ducks, but the key to getting them breeding and happy is for them to have plenty of room and to feel safe and secure in their environment, and give them the right kind of boxes, which can sometimes be a little bit of an experiment. This hollow log came to me from our tree trimmers, and my ring-tailed hen thinks this is the only home on the planet that she will ever lay eggs in. And she just loves this thing. So she's probably one of the few that would even fit in this little bitty hole. But, you know, you find what works for that particular bird, and you provide boxes for them. The Hottentot teal seem to like ground boxes with ramps, but I've got some that will also lay in that style ground box. So, you know, offer them a lot of options and give them space and clean water, and you should have no trouble keeping birds. Anyway, thanks y'all for stopping by and listening to my video, and I hope I've answered everybody's questions. If not, leave me a comment. Have a great day.